times did you discuss this case with members of your family before you spoke to the Massachusetts State Police on May 18, 2023?
I don't know how many times.
Hundreds?
We talk about it pretty decent. I mean, considering, yeah.
What members of your family have you discussed this case with?
My parents, my sister, my aunt, JJ, and Uncle Matt.
Would you say it's been hundreds of conversations?
We'd have to split it up and quantify what conversations were about the actual case and what conversations have been the harassment we've faced since then.
What, if any, type of harassment have you received?
And all of these discussions took place with you and members of your family prior to your interview with the Massachusetts State Police. You continued to speak with them about this case since your interview.
I don't know what you mean by this case. This case meaning the actual case at hand or just the case about the harassment we faced?
People showing up at our house.
Talking about what happened on January 28th and January 29th.
But there's really nothing to talk about those specifics, no.
People emailing my school.
We have nothing to say about
Just
that.
like
We
a
weren't
lot
part
of
of it.
harassment.
You looked out the window multiple times on January 29th, correct?
Twice, I think I said?
Moment.
You never heard any sort of commotion outside.
No.
You never heard screaming, yelling, or the screech of brakes in the front yard.
No.
You never saw a 220-pound man in dark clothes in the white snow on your front lawn.
No.
You did see those tire tracks.
I did.
No further questions.
You all set?
Hi, Mr. Albert, you are all set, sir.
Thank you.
Larry, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth call Ms. Caitlyn Albert to the stand.
Step right up here and just watch your step for me. Step right up. Step right up. Step right up. Step right up. And you stand and face the clock.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the evidence given to the court and jury in the case down here and to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may take the stand.
Caitlyn Albert, Caitlyn Albert. I live in Easton, about 3 years. I live with Tristan Morris, my boyfriend. I lived in Canton, 34 Fairview Road. I lived there from about 2011 to 2021.
Your mom's name is Nicole, is that right?
Yes,
Your father's name is Ryan Albert.
yes.
How many siblings did you have, I'm sorry?
I have 4.
Are you the oldest?
I am.
What do you do for it?
I work for the Massachusetts Attorney General's office in the Medicaid Fraud Division. Almost 3 years, I think. In September, it'll be 3 years.
Recall how you came to Canton and where was it that you went first?
So I can't say for sure. From what I remember, I believe that my boyfriend Tristan and I went straight from Easton to the waterfall and actually got there before my mom and my Aunt Julie, from what I can remember. And then my mom and Julie ended up meeting us there.
Do you recall about what time it was that you got to the waterfall?
Unfortunately, I can't remember an exact time, but it would have been around like dinner time. So if I had to guess, maybe like 6.
And do you recall specifically what kind of drinks you had or what you had to drink that night?
I believe that night I was drinking White Claw, I think.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Yannetti?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Albert, you were at your parents' home on January 29th by midnight or shortly thereafter, correct?
Correct.
You were the last one to leave at 1:45, 2 o'clock, somewhere in that area?
Yes.
On January 29th of 2022, did you receive any sort of communication from any investigator connected with this case?
I did not.
Trooper Proctor did not contact you on January 29th?
No,
He did not interview you on January 29th?
he did not.
What about January 30th,
No.
31st?
Nope.
How about the entire month of February, did you hear from Trooper Proctor wherein he set up a meeting or an interview with you?
I did not.
Then what about the entire rest of 2022?
Objection,
did
Your
Trooper
Honor.
Proctor interview you during that entire year?
All right, so the objection's overruled. You can answer that.
Okay. I was not interviewed, no.
No. On direct examination, Mr. Lally had asked you about whether you knew Brian Higgins. Do you remember that line of questioning?
I do.
And I believe you testified that you knew of Higgins, correct?
Yes.
And you thought that you had met him a couple of times, correct?
Yes.
So Brian Higgins, you would classify as an acquaintance, correct?
To me,
Yes.
I would classify him as a friend of my father's, not really an acquaintance or friend of mine.
He didn't rise to the level of an acquaintance, somebody who you met, but you didn't really know.
I'm not really sure how I would categorize my relationship with him. Again, it was just more of like, he was my father's friend. If I had seen him walking down the street, I would have said hello to him. I don't know anything about his personal life. I don't communicate with him regularly. So, I mean, if that's what you would consider an acquaintance, then yes.
I guess I would ask, what do you consider an acquaintance? How would you define that term?
I would say an acquaintance is someone who you are friendly with and might see from time to time. I guess in my head, I'm just sort of thinking someone who's in closer in age with me. I usually think of it as more of like a friend type thing and not my father's friend to me. I guess that's just the way I think of it in my head.
Okay, so is your testimony before this jury that an acquaintance is really a friend?
Someone that you're friendly with, perhaps, could be.
Okay. Who is Katie McLaughlin?
Katie McLaughlin is a girl who I'm the same age as. We went to high school together. We graduated the same year, and we have a couple mutual friends. We interact with some of the same people socially. I can't think of a time, possibly ever, where her and I ever hung out one-on-one or individually. So more of like a friend of a mutual friend.
Okay, so you would not consider Katie McLaughlin to be a friend?
She's not a close personal friend of
I
mine.
asked you if she was a close personal friend.
Objection.
Just let her finish her answer.
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your answer.
I would not consider her one of my, again, close friends.
Okay, all right, so let's get back to my question. Would you consider her to be a friend?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay, jurors, feel free to stand up and stretch.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Michael Proctor might have framed Karen Reed?
Ms. Albert, you know Courtney Proctor, correct?
No doubt whatsoever in our mind.
I know of her, yes.
And you've been in her company several times, correct?
No doubt
Yes.
whatsoever.
You've met her children, correct?
And the evidence
She is
shows
Michael
that.
Proctor's sister, correct?
The
Yes.
investigations
Yes.
show that.
When Michael Proctor ultimately interviewed you in August of 2023, did he ever ask you how well you knew his sister, Courtney Proctor? Did that subject ever come up?
Not that I remember.
And did you ever mention it to him that you had met his sister and met his sister's kids?
I did not.
When you went back to 34 Fairview, you saw your cousin, Colin Albert, inside the home. He's been over your house many times. You're close with him as your first cousin. Colin Albert is close with your parents. And you had a brief interaction with him that was sort of toward the foyer of the house.
Yes.
And when you were there, you saw your brother Brian, whose birthday it was. He had two friends with him, Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson, in that same area. Once you greeted Colin and left him, it's fair to say that you then were not looking over your shoulder monitoring what Colin was doing or where he was going, correct?
Correct.
And while you were in the kitchen dining room area, the door to the basement was kind of blocked from your view, was it not?
If I'm in the dining room area, there is a spot in there where I could see it, but I don't believe I could see the basement door, no.
From your vantage point, the door to the basement's kind of blocked from the area that you were in.
For the most part, yes.
And you weren't watching Colin to see where he went after you left him, and you never saw him leave the house physically, correct?
Correct.
15 paces.
This may be a good time to pause. I don't know, are we going to fast forward?
All right, we'll pause then, thank you.
And look at this.
Ms. Albert, we'll bring you back tomorrow.
Okay. Should I follow them out? Okay, thank you. Sweet. Yes.
24 paces.
Yeah. I like this berry.
All right, so Ms. Gianetti, why don't you tell me now what it is you hope to do tomorrow and basis for it?
My plan, Your Honor, it is based on the fact that Katie McLaughlin, when she testified, tried to minimize her relationship with Caitlyn Albert. The reason why that's relevant is that we have proof that she has changed her story after she learned that 34 Fairview was the Albert family home. She was on record with Trooper Proctor stating that, this is Katie McLaughlin, stating that what she heard my client say, she actually overheard. She heard my client addressing Jennifer McCabe on scene in a hysterical manner saying, allegedly, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. And that evolved in this case to a multi-part conversation with many different people, including starting with Katie McLaughlin saying, was there any trauma? And my client supposedly responded, I hit him. And then a police officer jumps in and asks another question, and my client supposedly said, I hit him. And there were like 4 different times where my client was responding to others so that it wasn't really this burst of excitement and an excited utterance. She tried to cast it as statements that were made upon reflection, making them sound more ominous and more inculpatory than what they were, particularly because the person to whom my client was speaking, who was no friend of my client, reported that she said, did I hit him, could I hit him? So we have a clear conflict in the testimony. We have a witness who has admitted that her statement has evolved, and she's admitted that her statement evolved after she learned the identity of the house that she was at, which happens to be the house that Caitlyn Albert grew up in. When she was confronted with, who is Caitlyn Albert, when Mr. Jackson asked Katie McLaughlin who Caitlyn Albert was, there was a long pause, and then she was and then even the way she phrased it was, I think, telling. I went to school with somebody by that name. It just sounded ridiculous. It sounded like it was somebody that she was trying to remember. And at that point, we had 4 photos that we marked for ID, H, I, J, and K, where we have them together. We have them being Facebook friends. We have a nature of the relationship that she tried to conceal in our view. Since that time, we've been deluged by other photos of the 2 of them together, including one intimate photo of them, the 4 of them. I'm sorry, when I say the 4 of them, I mean Caitlyn Albert, her 2 college roommates, and the only person who's not a college roommate in that photo is Katie McLaughlin. Katie McLaughlin also said that she never went on anything other than occasional day trips with Caitlyn Albert. We now know that that's false. We have them together in a hot tub drinking in a photo that is from Maine, which is about a 4-hour drive away.
When is that?
It was posted in 2016, which is another.
But when did it occur? Did it occur in 2016, or was it posted in 2016?
It was posted in 2016. I think the info says that's when it was a new photo that was uploaded. But that location was tagged on 2016, so we know it was after high school, which again contradicts Katie McLaughlin's testimony because she made it seem like this was just some girl that I knew in high school, and then we happened to be at the same places at various times, but I'm not close with her, despite the fact that I have my arm around her in most of the photos. The other aspect of this, Your Honor, is that Katie McLaughlin testified she had not seen Caitlyn Albert for, I think, 2 or 3 years prior to January of 2022. We have a baby shower photo that is from June of 2021. They are standing next to each other.
Do you have someone to authenticate that date?
Caitlyn Albert will authenticate that date.
Why are you sure of that?
She's going to be shown a baby shower which occurred in 2021.
Okay.
That's when it's timestamped on social media. And Caitlyn Albert, her face and her body are in that photo. Katie McLaughlin's face and body are in that photo.
How many other people are in that photo?
I think there are 6. I have the photo. Give it back to Mr. McDermott. It's the ones for ID. Oh, thank you.
Or actually, if I can just see those, I thought these were different photos. If I could have those, then you don't need to count the people.
Yeah. There are 5 other people in the photo with them, but they're together on the right side of the photo. These photos impeach the testimony of Katie McLaughlin multiple times, and we should be allowed to explore the bias of these witnesses, particularly the bias of Katie McLaughlin, who purports to give incriminating testimony against my client, brand new testimony that only existed after she learned of the identity of the homeowners in this case. This is classic bias and classic impeachment evidence. There is no reason why we shouldn't be able to show photographic evidence of this relationship, much like Mr. Lally's shown photographic evidence of the 34 Fairview, what it looks like. It's intended to assist the jury. And in doing a 403 balancing test, Your Honor, the probative nature of this evidence greatly outweighs any prejudice. She's able to explain these photos any way she wants when Mr. Lally does his redirect examination of her. But without being able to get into this, Your Honor, Katie McLaughlin's testimony, it's like she's wearing a suit of armor. We can't get through it. We have the tools and the evidence to get through it. We have the ability to expose her as somebody that's misrepresented something very important to this court. But if we can't ask these questions and we can't get in these photos, then we're not able to do it.
All right, Mr. Lally, what do you say?
Your Honor, just as far as the authenticity of whatever these is, as far as social media is concerned, there's a variety of ways to fabricate that. And I think it's interesting that Mr. Giannetti is really vague about where these photos came from or how he knows the specifics that he's so sure about when they occurred, where they occurred, what state people were in, what day it was, who his college roommates of who within these photographs, but has no specifics about where these deluge of photographs came from. More importantly, Your Honor, what I would submit as far as Ms. McLaughlin is concerned is she was entirely consistent. The disparagement as far as what her testimony has been, as far as her statement within the report to Trooper Proctor, her grand jury testimony in this case, and her testimony before this jury on the stand were identical, if not entirely consistent. And again, it's not just Ms. McLaughlin that is attributing this statement to the defendant. The jury has heard from 2 other firefighters, as well as anticipated other witnesses who will testify to these exact same statements that the defendant made outside of the home on that date. What counsel, I think, is referring to as far as the could I have hit him is something that the defendant said to Ms. McCabe, which was overheard by Ms. Roberts on a speakerphone on the way to Fairview Road. And then she modifies that statement when she's asked specifically about the bruising and how that could have been caused. And it's at that point where she repeats, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. So to then use prior statements to a completely separate witness that have nothing to do with Ms. McLaughlin to try to use that to claim impeachment or bias is ridiculous. And then as far as it applies to this specific witness, when it comes to impeachment and bias, what the case law is very clear about is if it goes to bias of the witness who is on the stand. And the witness in this case is Ms. Albert, not Ms. McLaughlin.
All right, thank you. This will save us some time tomorrow.
Right. Well, the only other thing I was going to add, Your Honor, is Mr. Lally's arguments go to the weight, not the admissibility. But I pulled up my notes, which I'm sure the court has. She has morphed her statement into, I asked if there had been any significant trauma. She said, I hit him. Then she repeated it. A woman said, you're hysterical, you need to calm down. She said, I hit him. Then a police officer said, what did you say? She repeated, I hit him. And, Ms. McCabe herself testified in the grand jury, that's not what happened. That she said at that moment, Did I hit him? Could I? She's on record saying it.
All right, thank you. I'll take a look at my notes and we'll figure this out first thing in the morning.